Okay, so it's 4:02. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I am recording this, so I know some of you let me know that you have to hop off a little early or something like that, and so I will send out the recording afterwards, or if you have officers or advisors that want to watch this. So we are recording. Before we jump into all things BBLC, we did want to take a minute to introduce the staff that are on this call. So first, I'm Allie Lewis, if we haven't met before. I'm the program manager of volunteers for Best Buddies Texas. I work out of our Houston office, but I oversee all of our established chapters throughout the state. So I work with most of you and will be working closely with you this year. So yeah, I will turn it over to Ashlyn.
Hello, everyone. Hi. I'm Ashlyn Bridges. I am program manager
Hello.
mission expansion for Best Buddies in Texas. My role within the organization is to help recruit, onboard, and train all of our new volunteers and chapters. So if this is your first time being involved with Best Buddies, or this is your first year as a leader in Best Buddies, you'll be hearing a lot from me. So I'm going to pass that on over to Joaquin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joaquin Escalante. I'm the program manager of community engagement located in Dallas. And what I'll be doing is going out, well, prior to COVID, I would be going physically out into the community and finding ways of getting the word out about Best Buddies through like fairs at your schools or colleges or within the community, and also bring in potential partnerships and maybe some ways to make Best Buddies more fun and collaborative for you all at the schools as well. Right now, that's just all being turned into the virtual settings and finding virtual ways to bring that over to y'all. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of my position.
Cool, thank you, Ashlyn and Joaquin. Something that we definitely want to emphasize as a team is that we, the three of us, work together statewide to bring you different events and different support. So you guys should feel comfortable coming to any one of us about an issue or struggle that you may have or a need. We do work as a team. So just, we want you guys to feel comfortable approaching us. I think a lot of you, I will work closely with you, but that's not to say that you won't hear from our other PMs as well. So, and kind of on that note, I did want to talk a little bit about communication this year. So all of our chapter presidents that are on the call, you should have been added into our CP GroupMe, which I believe most of you have. If you haven't, please feel free to contact me after this and I will add you in. But that's a huge communication channel for us moving forward. And then for our chapter presidents and the rest of the officers that are on this call, whether you're vice president, secretary, another position at your school, we have created a remind channel this year for you. So I've sent out a couple emails about it and let your chapter presidents know, but I will send another email out in case you didn't get the code. But if you haven't joined and you need the code, it is BBTX-2020. And I'll pop that in the chat a little bit later in case you need that. So we'll be using that to send out reminders that apply to all of our officers. You can also feel free to message us back on Remind if you have a question about something. It's definitely an open communication channel for you guys. Same thing with advisors. We have our advisor Remind. So I'll send out another email to all of our advisors about our Remind channel. As far as communicating with your program manager, directly, you can email us, you can text us. I get a lot of questions like, what do you prefer? And it's like, whatever works for you works for me, whether that's email, whether that's text message, whether that's picking up the phone and calling. We are open to whatever works best for you. I will say, try to avoid group message DMs. I get a lot of those, and sometimes they go into the nowhere of GroupMe, or they get into a spam folder. So I'm definitely more likely to see it if you email me or if you just text me directly, and I'll send a follow-up email to this with all of our phone numbers and email, so you guys can have all of that contact information. But I think big thing, like, please don't feel weird, reaching out to us. I think, this is your first time maybe interacting with us, and we're here to support you guys and to help you make the best Buddies chapter that you can. So again, I'll send out all of this information in a follow-up email. I know it can kind of be a lot, but yeah, I think just when it comes to communication, definitely over communicate is better than under communicating with us. So even if it seems really minimal or small, we're definitely here to support you guys. So with all of that said, we're going to jump into the topic of today's call, which is BBLC. So we do have a few returning chapter presidents or officers that have attended the conference before. But for those who don't know about BBLC, it stands for Best Buddies Leadership Conference. And this is a conference that Best Buddies has hosted every year for the past 30 years. It usually takes place at Indiana University. But this is the first year that the conference will be virtual due to COVID-19. But this is also exciting because that means that all of your officers, your advisors can participate as well. And there's not the additional cost of traveling to Indiana. So although we're sad we won't be seeing you in person, it's definitely, there are definitely some positives here. So basically what you'll be learning at LC is more of those high level, big picture ideals about Best Buddies. You'll get to see more about our other mission pillars and really understand what Best Buddies International is, because obviously you guys know about Best Buddies at your particular school, at your chapter, but Best Buddies has so many other components to it that we want you guys to learn about. So you'll be learning all of those big picture things. And so before we get into like the nitty gritty of this year's virtual conference, I've asked a couple of our returners to share what their favorite aspect of LC is, or what are some important things that you guys will learn. So I will hand it over first to Roshni from Coppell.
Okay, hi guys, can y'all hear me? Yeah, okay, so hi, my name's Roshni. This is gonna be my 4th year in Best Buddies and 4th year as president at my high school. I'm from the Dallas area, and so I guess my favorite thing about attending BBLC for the past couple years is just the atmosphere and really meeting new people. I've met so many people from like all over the world, and so we've all kept in contact, and the reason why that's nice is because we get to share ideas and like find out what our chapters are doing. Because I know people from other places, it's a chance for like the buddies in my chapter to also meet other buddies from different places. And so that's really nice. And so it was also nice because I got to meet the other presidents from the Dallas area. And because of that, we've got to collaborate on different things. So yeah, that's, I guess, the really fun part about BBLC.
Awesome. Thank you, Roshni. And now I'll turn it over to Emily Lucas from Hendrickson High School.
Yeah, so hi, so I'm Emily. I'm from Hendrickson High School. So it's in Pflugerville, or like Austin. And so I attended last year and I had so much fun. Definitely something that I can say is like the environment and the atmosphere is just so inclusive and genuinely just like everyone's just so kind. And like I remember like going there and I didn't know anyone and I was just going by myself and meeting a bunch of new people, and that was kind of stressful because I was like, I don't know anyone, like I'm gonna stay with people that I don't know. Yeah. And I remember just being like just so shocked with like how like, or just kind of thrown back by like just how kind everyone was, and being able to like meet the other like chapter presidents like in person, and to be able to talk about things that has worked at their high school, things that didn't, and just like vice versa, and like how we can implement that into our school to continue to make like our chapter like more successful. So definitely like my one advice, like if you get the chance to meet someone new, like definitely like introduce yourself and just ask around, and or just like ask like what's going on at their high school, and you never know, like you might be able to find some like really like lifelong friends that you didn't know about. But yeah, so definitely just like introduce yourself, put yourself out there, and meet some new people. But yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you, Emily. And finally, I'm going to turn it over to Tanya from Seven Lakes High School.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tanya. I'm going to be a senior, and it will be my third year going to LC this year and my second year being president. So that's exciting. For me, I completely echo what Emily and Roshni said. It is just the most inclusive, fun atmosphere. Like, before you go, you have to like prepare yourself to make like 1,000 friends in 3 days. It's just the best environment for me. I think my favorite thing is just seeing everyone and like seeing the mission on an international level. When I feel like we're at our high school, then we kind of see it in like a smaller community like perspective. And even at like Best Buddies Texas events, it's like, okay, it's a Texas thing. But then when you go to LC, you realize, oh my gosh, there are people from like the Dominican Republic that have Best Buddies, and like Kenya. And it's so crazy. And I guess you really get to see that in the World Cafe, which is where you are randomly sat down with people from all over the world. And you talk about what works for you with Best Buddies, what doesn't work, and it's just really interesting to see the different perspectives. Also, there's a bunch of really fun events like opening ceremonies, and like they have like a whole like dance party. And I don't know, it's like the most fun. Everything is amazing, and you learn a lot too. So I love it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for sharing. I think a big overarching theme is the networking that you get to do at LC. So while we will be virtual this year, we are going to facilitate as many networking opportunities with each other as possible so that you guys can build those connections and find chapters that are nearby that you can do events with or virtual events with. You know, it's a really great opportunity. So we will be hearing from some really great keynote speakers and just really learning more about the entire Best Buddies mission of inclusion, which I think, you know, kind of echoing what Emily said, it's really cool to all be in a place, or we'll be together virtually with so many like-minded people and so many people that really care about inclusion for people with disabilities. So I think that's a really awesome opportunity. So as much as you can, you know, participate in discussions, you know, connect with each other. We will facilitate these again, but, you know, really take that initiative. If maybe your chapter struggles with something and you hear someone talking about how they do that well in their chapter, you know, reach out to them and be a resource for them and for others. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Joaquin. He is going to talk about all of the details of registration.
All right, so when it comes to registration, there is a designated website with all the details for LC. And let me share my screen real quick so you guys can just easily let's see what I'm talking about. Okay. So the website that you'll need to go to is bestbuddies.org/BBLC. And then from there, at the very top, there's a little button, a little icon that says register. Simple as that, just register, click on that. If you want to just keep finding out more information and details about the event, just go ahead and scroll down. Again, there'll be another option for registering. But go ahead and click on that register link at the very top. Let it load up. And then kind of scroll down a bit. And since y'all are members of Best Buddies already, you may have a login and password. You would use that to complete the form that you would fill out. If not, for whatever reason, you would click on United States, since we're all in Texas, and go down and just, it's your basic form that you would fill out for anything that you would be registering for, asking for your basic information. The very first question, though, is asking what category you fit in. So for the majority of y'all, it would be either high school, middle school, college. If we have any advisors here, you would click the advisor option, and so on and so forth, whatever one is applicable to you. And just keep going all the way down, filling it out. And as you get down to the very bottom, if you are under the age of 18, you will need to fill out this section with your parents' information or legal guardian. And then before the very end, if there's any accommodations that you need for the events, you would click yes, and they would ask you what those may be, and just hit register. There is a deadline to get this done, a hard deadline of July 10th, because on July 13th is when they'll be emailing out all the links to everyone that registered to go ahead and sign up for whatever sessions they want to go to and the directions on how to access everything. So it's imperative that you guys do that sooner rather than later, so you guys have plenty of time to get that out there, and we can then send that email out promptly on July 13th with all that information that you guys are going to need to access everything the day of the event and the days prior to for all those other things. But that's pretty much it. Nothing more than that page right there. So I'm gonna unshare this page now. And then I'll just hand it over to, is it Ashlyn that's next, or are we going back to Allie?
Well, one thing I did want to mention, please be sure you type in your email address correctly, because that's going to be the main form of communication. And we've already gotten some messages that like bounce back emails and things like that. So please type in your email correctly. Just make sure. We actually didn't have anyone from Texas who submitted the wrong email. So good job. If you haven't registered already, please do so ASAP. Because although, like Joaquin said, the official deadline, it's a very hard deadline of July 10th, they are tracking our state statistics of how many people we have registered. And we want to get to 100% of our chapters registered before anyone else. So let's do it. We got to beat out, I think right now, like California is beating us and we need to be number one. So if you haven't registered already, it takes literally 5 minutes to just go online and quickly submit that, and that will make our life so much easier, and I won't have to follow up with an email to you. So with all that said, we appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna toss it over to Ashlyn to talk about schedule.
Thanks, Allie. We're not competitive in Texas at all. No. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to go over an overview of what is to be expected for our conference right now. So just like Joaquin, I'm going to share my screen so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So he went over the register tab. I'm going to go over the event details tab in the bestbuddies.org/BBLC website. So what you're going to do, let me move this out the way, scrolling on over. So here you're going to see the overview of the virtual experience. As Allie mentioned before, the actual conference is from the 16th and the 17th. But there's a whole week long of amazingness to look forward to. So what to expect for the conference and what you're going to be learning. There's going to be keynote presentations, which I'm excited to announce who our keynote speaker is. But I don't know if I should announce it yet, Allie. So maybe we'll wait. I'll wait on it. Okay. So we have our keynote presenters, and we have some awesome speakers and performers that are going to be hosting our speaker wow case, which is like our showcase, as well as our kickoff on the July 16th. We have some interactive sessions, and so those are like some pre-recorded talks by some experts in the field and experts in on some different panels, and there's going to be live Q&A sessions during those pre-recorded sessions. After that, we also have some on-demand sessions. So back in the day, do they still have on-demand? I don't know. I use Netflix, but on-demand, there's a whole catalog and library of a lot of different topics and sessions that people can just listen into and digest all the information that they need that is specific for their chapter. And then as Tanya was talking about World Cafe, we do have those peer-to-peer, those one-to-one connections, or like roundtable discussions that are going to be facilitated and led by our YLC, our Young Leaders Council, as well as designated staff members within the organization. So that's just a brief overview of what the different things that are going to look like during our couple of days together. Now, going through day by day, Monday is our Move It Monday. So July 13th, we're going to have some fun activities to keep you guys moving and motivated on Facebook Live. So if you have not liked Best Buddies International on Facebook yet, or you're not following us yet, be sure to go and do that ASAP so you won't be missing any of that juicy content. On July 14th is our Tech Tuesday. So if you have registered for a conference by the deadline of July 10th, you'll be getting an invite to go through the BBLC website, as well as how to use the platform, and really getting you guys comfortable with selecting the different sessions you want to go to. On July 15th, which is one of my more, I'm excited about, even though I'm not necessarily in Best Buddies jobs, I am excited about Workplace Wednesday because there's going to be a screening of Hearts of Glass. It's a documentary, as well as a panel of different employers, Best Buddies jobs participants, some different tips and tricks to become more marketable in your job search. So that's open to registered attendees as well. On the 16th is our kickoff of the Voices of Inclusion. Like I mentioned, we have the showcase of performers and presenters, and that will be held on Facebook Live. Now, on Friday is where all your learning is going to happen. So those different sessions I was saying, like the on-demand session, the roundtables, those keynote presentations will happen all on Friday on the website hub.me. So they'll start from, they use Eastern because our headquarters is in Miami. So I don't want to say the times and then we all get confused. But on starting with the general sessions, that's our keynote speaker and different panels that are open to everyone. And when you go in and you register for the different sessions, those will be the only things that will be available during those times is the keynote speaker or the panel discussions. From the next block, there's those program breakouts, and those are those interactive sessions that I was saying that will be led by someone, an expert in the field. After the program breakouts, it's your choose your own adventure, and that's your on-demand content where you choose specifically what does your chapter need to work on, what do you want to learn more about, what are you trying to get more information on. So that's where you can join those roundtables. That's where you can join the on-demand content. It's really just choose your own adventure. And then later on Friday night is the speaker wow case, which is a lot of our ambassadors will be giving our speeches. I know those who have been to LC before, that's like one of our favorite parts is listening to all the ambassador speeches. So our speaker wow case will be held on Facebook Live on that time. So I'm not going to go through the frequently asked questions because I think that's something you guys can do on your own. But I just want to give you kind of an overview of what to expect. The best part about all of this is that since it's going to be on demand and it's going to be online, this is available, all the content is available post-conference. So even if you're not able to attend all of the sessions at one time, or you can only attend a certain amount, that's perfectly fine. All of this content will be available for, I believe, up until September 1st on the BBLC portal, and then everything will be exported to BBU for those of you who are familiar with that platform as well. So, but you cannot access any of that if you do not register. So make sure you are registering with conference at this website for the conference. That's all I had. I am going to stop sharing my screen as well and turn it over to Allie or Joaquin for some general random questions that y'all may have.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashlyn. Okay, so I'm super excited about everything virtual LC this year. If you guys have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can pop it in the chat. So we'll just open it up and yeah, let us know if you have any questions. Any takers?
Hey, Allie.
Hey.
Hi. I have a question. Is there any sessions in here that admin might want to chime into? For a principal or assistant principal that oversees Best Buddies with us or Unified Champions at Hendrickson. I'm just trying to think how could I get my admin involved and kind of hear what all of the great things that we're doing and just try to get them more on board at our campuses.
Great question. Ashlyn, do you want to take that one?
Oh, she said Allie, so I was like, ooh, Allie, go ahead and get it. Hi, Jackie.
That's a great question.
So the content that will be available for administrators, principals, advisors, let me say, there's not specific tracks for conference. If you're familiar with conference in the past, we've done, this is a high school track, and the college track, and the advisor track, and there's predetermined things for each session. I say for community leaders, for administrators, pick, when you're registering on the website, pick either advisor or community leader for your administrators, for your principals. And then at that point, they can pick and choose which topics they would like to learn more about. The overall content within the conference is based on general leadership, and then some nitty-gritty stuff about how to run a chapter, and then also community engagement. So it's not specific, like, as a principal, this is what you need to know, right? It's more of like, here's how to be a leader and advocate for our students in the school system. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think that's what a great concept. And I think for all of you guys on the call, like, definitely, send the information to your administrators, especially if you maybe have a new principal who doesn't know about Best Buddies, or someone who, again, just maybe doesn't know as much about, the organization that's on your campus. So I think it's a great opportunity, and just follow those directions like Ashlyn said. And I can also kind of pop that in there of like choose advisor or community leader when I send this follow-up email. But yeah, great question.
Great question.
Okay, I haven't seen any in the chat. Anyone else have any questions?
I have a quick question. So my vice president doesn't have good internet access. So she was going to come and we were going to share a screen for conference. Should she also register if we're sharing, or just register under mine?
Yeah, I would also have her register, because even if at the time she won't have good internet, she'll still be able to access all of that information at a later date. So I would just say go ahead and register, even if you'll be sharing the same computer.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Great question. Anyone else? Any other takers? No. And again, feel free to follow up with either myself or Ashlyn or Joaquin if you do have any questions and you just don't want to do it on this Zoom call. That's okay. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. That's all we have. Ashlyn, Joaquin, do you guys have anything else to add?
No, I'm just excited to get to meet each and every one of you individually.
Yeah, same.
I'm
This
excited
will
for
be my
2021.
first LC, this virtual one instead of an in-person one that everyone gets to have fun at. So hopefully this one will be just as fun.
Yeah, I think so. I'm really excited. And again, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to follow up with us. I'll send out this link. I'll send out all of the information so you can send it to, if you had officers who missed this or anything, or want to send to your advisors. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much.